There's a certain kind of person who, at 10 years old, already knew how to read the room, who learned to go quiet when a parent came home in a bad mood, who figured out how to make dinner before they could even reach the stove properly, who became the emotional support for the adults around them before they even understood what emotions were. Psychologists have a term for what happened to these people. They call it parentification, and it's far more common than anyone talks about. If this is you, if your childhood felt more like a rehearsal for survival than an actual childhood, what happened to you has a name, and it has effects that are still showing up in your life right now. Most kids have one job: be a kid, be a little selfish, make noise, ask for things. The adult world is supposed to stay adult. But some children get handed responsibilities that were never theirs to carry. Maybe nobody was steering the ship, so you quietly picked up the wheel. Maybe you became the family therapist at age 9, the one who kept the peace, the one who made sure the younger siblings didn't notice how bad things actually were. Research published in the Journal of Family Issues found that children placed in these roles often develop what looks like maturity from the outside, but is something quite different on the inside. It looks like maturity. It functions like hypervigilance. A study from Harvard's Center on the Developing Child found that chronic stress during childhood actually reshapes the developing brain, particularly the stress response systems. So you grow up, you leave, things get objectively better, but you still walk into a room and scan for who's upset. You still feel responsible for everyone's emotional state. Your nervous system is still doing the job it was trained to do, even when there's no longer any reason to do it. And here's the part nobody puts in the inspirational posts. You paid for that early maturity with something real. Children who grow up too fast often describe a specific kind of grief in adulthood, not for a traumatic event, but for an absence. The grief of never quite being allowed to just be small. That grief doesn't show up until your 20s or 30s because you were too busy surviving to feel it earlier. But here's what's also true. People who grew up this way develop emotional intelligence that is genuinely rare. You understand nuance. You read people with accuracy that takes others decades to develop. That's real. That matters. The goal isn't to undo what happened. You can't get that childhood back. The goal is to finally give yourself what was missing then: permission to be a full person, to have needs, to not be okay sometimes, to be loved not because of what you manage or fix or hold together, but simply because you exist. That's not a small thing. That might be the whole thing. If this resonated, subscribe. More videos like this are coming. I'll see you in the next one.